It's the liquid heart of the Everglades. And if we keep abusing it, okay, that heart's gonna die.
Something is wrong with the plumbing in South Florida.
Decades ago, the water system itself was drained and dammed and diverted, and in order to dry and bleed water off the landscape quickly.
It was designed in a time where protection of the environment was not paramount in people's mind.
That leads to too much phosphorus flowing into the lake.
For anybody who's ever had a garden or had a house plant and you put fertilizer on it, that's phosphorus. And when the rain falls in your garden or rains in your potted plant and it comes out the bottom, it has some of that phosphorus dissolved in it. And when it flows into the lake, it's not fertilizing your plants anymore, it's fertilizing algae blooms.
So, how do we fix nearly a century of drainage?
The plan has 68 projects in it, and these basically rework the water flow for the entire state of Florida in a man-made fashion that will send water south the way it naturally used to flow.
Lee County Commissioner Brian Hammond is talking about the Comprehensive Everglades Restoration Plan, or CERP. CERP is designed to be a partnership between Florida and the federal government. The state has been putting away $200 million a year for its share.
But the federal government's $1 billion behind the state of Florida in funding and constructing these projects. And unfortunately, after 18 years, we've only seen about 3 of these projects really be completed and be able to be used.
This problem wasn't created overnight, and it's not going to be solved overnight, but we do know that over the last 20 years of Everglades restoration, not much has happened, and that's unacceptable.
One of the big projects in CERP, the EAA Reservoir. If completed, the EAA Reservoir could increase the amount of water flowing south by 120 billion gallons. Some people say it can turn around the fight for clean water in Florida.
The single most important project probably is the EAA Reservoir.
It's a project that's absolutely critical to saving the Everglades.
Others think it's putting a Band-Aid on a chest wound.
Over 95% of the water increase to Lake Okeechobee comes from the Kissimmee River. So to me, yes, we may need some reservoirs down south, we need them east and west, but our focus, our priority should be storage north.
I'm not a scientist, I'm not a water expert, but when you see 95% of the water that's in Lake Okeechobee comes from the north, that is the only way, that is a source, that is the only way that we can address the real issue.
The EAA is included in this year's Water Resource Development Act. It still needs to pass Congress and be signed off by the President. The earliest it would be completed is 2025. The EAA isn't the only project designed to repipe Florida's plumbing.
And it's a key component for our estuary over here and to try to help improve the water quality and the health of the estuary.
Just south of the Caloosahatchee, another reservoir is being built. It's called C-43.
We're going to store 170,000 acre-feet of water in here. That's 1 acre of land with 1 foot of water on it. It's the equivalent of about 55 billion gallons of water.
Each of those projects gets us incrementally more flexibility so that when they all come online, we have a lot more flexibility.
That's just 2 projects out of 68. Researchers say we may need all of them for a healthy Florida.
When we started, the EAA reservoir wasn't even on the table. Our politicians were telling us there's no way that's ever going to happen. Sugar industry has too much influence. We're not getting a reservoir, and that was just 2 years ago. And now, that reservoir is up in Washington, D.C. We're just waiting on the federal government to stroke the check.
So, Florida, our waterways are hurt, maybe close to dying. Our environment and health are at risk. Our businesses depend on the water. At the center of it all, a lake, the liquid heart of Florida.